Hello everybody, welcome to Technique Tuesday. Today we're going to be making a spotlight card, which is sort of self-explanatory. Everything is done in black and white and there's just a little spotlight which highlights a little bit of one of the areas of the stamp. So without further ado, this is a nice quick and easy one, so let's crack on. You need a piece of cardstock, which is 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5.5. We're pretty comfortable with that, so we'll fold it in half and score it, and then we're going to use the 1/4 inch smaller and smaller layer system. So this ends up being 4 1/4 by 5.5. We've got a piece of basic black, which is 4 by 5 1/4, and then a piece of basic white, which is 3 3/4 by 5. We're also going to need an extra piece of basic white cardstock to stamp the image that we cut the spotlight out of, but that's basically it. So we'll pop these bits off to one side and we'll start with the stamping. I'm going to take the Memento black, and the stamp sets we're using today, we're getting the flower image from Colour and Contour and the greetings from Sentimental Park. So what we need to do is ink up the image in black. So we'll do that and pop it plumb into the middle of the basic white. There's also a cute little extra bud which I always just like to add to give it a little bit of extra dimension, so we'll pop that on. Again, everything's happening in black and white, and then we will stamp the greetings. So we have Let's Celebrate, which, as I said, came from the Sentimental Park stamp set. So we'll celebrate, and there's Who are we going to celebrate? Yo! So you, of course, being your fabulously lucky recipient who is going to end up receiving this card. So that's the black and whiteness part of it. So we can pop the black away, and then we're going to bring in the extra little piece, and I'm going to use the same flower, so just make sure it's clean, and I'm going to stamp it with Granny Apple Green. Ooh, that went a bit wild. Ooh, let's not do that. Oh my gosh. Everything will be bright green and we don't want that, do we? So sometimes when the stamps are a little bit juicy, it's best just to lay them down and tap the ink onto them instead of smushing like I just did. So we'll go ahead and we'll stamp the green, which luckily just came out unblemished. So we can pop that away. And then we're going to take the crushed curry, which is the same colour as the base of the card, and we'll use the 2-step stamp and line it up where it needs to be. Desperately trying to not get my head in the shot. Not too bad. Quite pleased with that, actually. So that's that part. And now all we need to do is cut out the circle that we want. So I'm going to use a 1 1/4 inch circle punch. It's quite old. You can get circles, you can get dies, and you can get punches, but as I've said in previous videos, if you already own it, it seems silly to spend more money re-getting things just because they're a different shape. A circle is a circle after all. So I'm just going to cut out a piece that I feel shares the wealth of the colour, as it were, but you can still see that there's a little bit of black and white around it. And then what we need is a slightly larger circle. This one is 1 3/8, and I'm actually just going to cut it out of the layer because, of course, this is going to go over that, and you can't see there's a big gaping hole in the back. So what we need to do is attach basic white to the black circle, and actually what I think I'll do, because these are leaves and they need a little bit of extra help, I'm actually going to bring in the Stampin' blend. This is the Granny Apple Green Light blend pen, and just give the leaves a little bit of extra depth too. So now we can just assemble it all together. So we'll use the rolling adhesive and pop that onto the black, which is a 1/4 inch larger, so it gives an 1/8 of an inch all around. And then we'll go ahead and we'll pop the black onto the main card body. Like I say, you can't see there's a big hole because once it's onto here, nobody's going to be any the wiser. So there's 2 variations of how you can attach the spotlight. Some people like to put it on dimensionals and lift it up a little, but I felt because this image was actually quite small, I didn't want to lift it up. I think lifting it up obscures even a little bit more. So I'm just going to attach it with my rolling adhesive. And then you've just got to match up the flowers and the leaves. You see how it continues through and it continues down here, and this would be the roll of the flower. So we'll pop that on, and literally that's it. It's so much fun. You can punch any part of the flower out. I've seen it where people have done 2 and they've punched a second one and highlighted the bud. I've seen where it's a whole big black and white image and people have just picked different spots and colored them in. But that's basically the technique. You stamp something in black and white, you stamp it again, and you do it with color. Punch it with a circle punch, not necessarily. You can just cut a square, or you could cut it with a die if it was a flower, as long as you mask it with a little bit of black so it brings your eyes into focus on that point. If you like what you've seen, would you mind consider subscribing, or at least give me a like, because that helps keep my algorithm busy. I love bringing these videos. It's just something that I do. I look forward to making them, and I love going around and picking up ideas and all that good stuff. This idea I actually got from Amanda Fowler. She's a UK demonstrator, and you know, somebody from my homeland, got to give them a shout out. So subscribe if you wouldn't mind. A like always goes down well. If you've got a question or a comment, please feel free to put them in the description box below. And speaking of which, all the directions and the dimensions will be in there. I've quite liked this technique. When I was hunting down some ideas to share with you, I did find a couple of extra ones, so check back often and there'll be different variations on the theme. And last but not least, thanks so much for watching.